So that's just kind of where it ended for that scene.
So Jesus is just hanging out. He is not going anywhere.
What do you mean? Gone anywhere? He rose from the dead.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Because he's
bro,
saying he's waiting to.
go to heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
what
he's
we
kind of hanging out, right?
what we do understand, or what we think we understand, is that when Jesus died, he says he went to hell, went to, and basically defeated the devil, conquered like death, basically, and that's where he was for 3 days, and then he came back to life, and this is where we're seeing him. He came back to life. But he says, as we read later in a little bit, that he hadn't gone to heaven. So he died as a physical person, and he went to hell. He defeated Satan. He came back to earth, and but he had not gone to heaven yet. And do you guys know why he goes back to heaven? Well, several reasons why, but can you guess one reason why he goes back to heaven?
So we can have the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, and which we read about later.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't go back to heaven, we don't get the Holy Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
He could have stayed here in just that body form and just lived, and or not really necessarily living, um, but he could have just stayed. But he doesn't. He has to go back to heaven, um, which kind of goes into the next part of what we're reading. So when you, I don't know, I was the one thing after reading all this that kind of really stood out to me is then when um, Mary starts talking to Jesus. First, she didn't recognize who he was, and this is very common when Jesus came back. He met many people, and at first, no one recognized him, and then he let himself be recognized. Like he kind of had kind of a power to they could recognize him or not recognize him. So at the time when they first started talking, she didn't recognize him, and then he allowed her to recognize him. And then after that, um, but one of the things that stood out to me is near the very end. It's where number 17, um, middle, the end of the second paragraph, 17, where it says, Jesus told her, "Do not hold on to me. I have not yet gone to the Father, but go to my brothers and my sisters, and I am go and tell them I'm going to my Father, your Father, to my God, your God." Um, what stood out to me is that Jesus told her, "Don't hold on to me." That part like really confused me. Like, why not? Like, why? And so before there is no, to be honest, there's no. Every person that I read, I try to read like a lot of what other people wrote, and we call commentaries about it, and no one has an exact answer. No one can say exactly why Jesus says this. I think there's a couple that make a lot of sense, but what do you guys think? Why do you think Jesus tells Mary, don't hold on to me"?
Because he hasn't fulfilled the purpose for which he came was to return to the Father. So she can't. He's not saying it like, get away from me, like, don't touch me. But like with most of his talks, he has purpose in his whole 3 years of ministry was purposeful. So he has purpose because he knows where he's going. Just like he said, he has confidence in why he came and what he's come to do. His food comes from his Father. Like he has to complete his mission basically. You know, that's how I take it. Don't hold on to me because she can't. Because if she holds on to him, then what he can't send the Spirit. So
there, it does seem kind of contradictory to against. It doesn't make sense if you compare those two. One says in 17, "Don't touch me," and the other one, Jesus is telling um, Thomas to directly touch him.
But I think it's like an inward. She was like,
Oh yeah, I don't think it was physical.
no.
I think maybe he was saying like, let me go emotionally. Like, don't keep holding on to like you're missing me or you're very sad. Just let me go because I have to go do this. Like, there's nothing else I can do. So you have to let me go. I don't think it was physical. I think it was emotional. Her heart. Her heart. But maybe. I don't know.
Almost like when someone dies, like don't hold on to me. Know that I'm in heaven or something like that. Like no, I'm in a better place or maybe.
I mean, it's not the same, but
No.
like Judy was telling me that like when her grandmother was dying, that a lot of times, not in this case, but like old people will continue to live for the people who are there. And so like in hospice, they say, okay, you tell her it's okay for her to go. So Judy and her mom and her like whatever family members had to talk to her and say it's okay for you to go. It's okay. So they had to be released enough and feel okay to say it's okay. And then like literally right after that, shortly after she passed away, so she was just only hanging on for them. So it's not the same, but I kind of feel like he was saying emotionally, it's okay. I have to do this, so don't be so sorrowful about it. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that
Not
helps.
abandoning her. Like
Yeah, not touch, just a hold on, just like,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah. Maybe.
Because in Korean, it's just do not touch me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I could see how that
Does
would
it
be
say
difficult.
that in Japanese too? Do not touch me. 17. 17.
17.
Jesus told her, "Do not hold on to me." Oh, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Any other thoughts? Why do you think maybe Jesus tells her to not hold on?
Maybe this was already said, but it's so much bigger than him in a way. He he's not gonna stay a person and a friend to her, in body on earth. It's actually gonna be even bigger and better than that. Like he's gonna leave his Holy Spirit, and it's gonna be this deeper personal relationship. So he's just saying don't, I don't know, maybe not get attached physically, like in that way. But of course, we're gonna get attached personally and with a relationship. But maybe don't hold on to me because there's actually something even more, even bigger, better coming. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys already say that?
Not exactly. Any others before?
Yeah. Ricardo, did you want to say something? Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Attention to meet his plate.
So I'll kind of explain first, like what things that other people have said, written about. Mostly what everyone had said already, actually, almost exactly. Um, it's actually kind of funny. Like the commentators who've been writing about the Bible for a long time said very, very close to what you guys said. Um, there are two other thoughts that are said that um, that were explained as well that could be. One kind of leads up to this. This Mary is the one when we read in the past that when she saw Jesus, she took out her bottle of perfume that cost a whole year's wages and poured it on his feet and wiped her feet with his feet with her hair to show how much he meant to her, or how much she, yeah. And yeah, thank you. I thought I said it
Yeah, you're
backwards.
right.
He meant to her, and so and to show her love and dedication to him, that earthly things don't mean as much as what they mean nothing to her compared to Jesus. And so this is that same person. So all of a sudden, the person you love this much has died and is gone. And then all of a sudden, and you think someone has stolen his body, and you think he's gone. So all of a sudden, you recognize he's in front of you. So her first thing to do is to grab on, to hold on to Jesus, to not let him go. He's alive. He's not dead. And she was there. She was the one. Her his mother and John were the ones who watched him get crucified. No one else was there. Just those three actually watched him die on the cross. So now all of a sudden you see him alive and well, and telling her to have, like, basically saying good words to her. So her reaction, that a lot of the commentators sort of say, is that she wants to hold on to him, like worship him right there. And he's saying, "Don't touch me." Now, one group of people, they feel he's saying, "Don't touch me," because he'll want to stay with her. It's a temptation because he loves her so much that he, like, kind of like what Angie said, there's work to be finished, and he hasn't finished it yet. So he can't stay there. He wants to so badly. So it's in a way, don't tempt me to stay here. I want to, but I have to go. I haven't finished what I need to do. So please don't touch me, because that's what he wants most, is to be with Mary as well. And so he's saying, don't do that to me. Don't make it difficult for me to leave. And so he's telling her that, not for her as well, but I think for himself, because he says, I have something to do. I still have to do something. So that's one idea that's kind of said. So from Jesus' point of view, not just for her, but for Jesus' point of view, it's going to be difficult for him to leave if she does that. Two, most people say because he has come back and has not gone to the Father yet, he's in a transcended body, meaning his body is physically there. Well, it looks there, but it's not his real body yet. So if she holds on to them, he's like in a holy body, not a human body yet. So and not until he goes to heaven, he gets the kind of the physical body that people can, like, touch, and that's why later on he tells Thomas to touch him, but tells her you can't. Um, and even later on, he'll in a different time, he actually meets with Peter, and he actually cooks for Peter, and then he eats a meal with Peter, so he can physically eat and sit there. But at this time, some people believe he cannot. He doesn't have a physical form, like a something you can actually grab onto, almost like an image. And we have and why people feel this way is that we have an idea that from the Bible from before, when he took Peter and John up to a mountainside, and his body became this same way to go and talk to the Father in heaven, and he was talking with Elijah and Moses in 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 the sky. His body transformed into this non-physical body, and so they believe that this is the same body. Something, if we try to touch it, we would die because it's so holy, so perfect. His perfect body.